Hi everyone, it's Jennifer. Earlier this summer, I mentioned that I wanted to occasionally have some guest artists for you on my YouTube channel and on my blog. Today I have another, and her name is Laura Sterckx. Now, what's incredibly special about Laura is not only is she inspiring and super creative, but she happens to only be 17. She also lives in Belgium, and I really find it so encouraging to see young people doing this hobby. Now, one of the things that I like about Laura is that she keeps her cards simple, but always has a fun background, like the one you see here, the soft blue embossing paste background with a nice focal point in the center. Or here's something bold, but she keeps the cards simple so that the attention goes right to the sentiment and it just draws you in. She does incorporate some fun little techniques in her cards too, yet still maintains that clean and simple look, which I think is really hard to do, but she is able to achieve it. Because I love Laura's happy cards so much, I wanted to share her here in case you don't already follow her YouTube channel or her blog, which I'll link to right here or in the YouTube description below. Now today, Laura has a really soft and adorable card for you, this one that you see here that she created for her mom, which I think is so sweet. So let's go ahead and introduce you to Laura.
Hey everyone, it's Laura here from makingcardsisfun.com, and I'm super happy to be guest posting at Jennifer McGuire's blog today. Today I'm going to start out with a piece of white Nina cardstock that I cut to 3 inch by 3 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to use the Falling Heart stencil by Simon's Stamp to create a hard background. I'm using some painter's tape to just temporarily tape down my stencil on my work surface because I just don't want it to shift while I'm working with the embossing paste. I'm going to use some white embossing paste by Wendy Vecchi. Okay, so I'm just taking a tiny bit of embossing paste out of the jar, and you really don't need a whole lot of embossing paste. You can just really work with a really small amount and it will give you enough texture. And now I'm going to scrape off the excess. There we go. And then I can put the rest of it just back in the jar. I don't know about you, but I just really like to add sparkle to my cards. And these little hearts just scream sparkle to me, so I'm going to add some glitter using the Neutral Ultra Shimmer Embossing Glitter by Wow. And I'm just going to sprinkle it on. So I'm just going to sprinkle some embossing powder on there. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside and I'm going to heat set it in a couple of minutes because I'm just not going to do it right now because otherwise the little hearts won't be as flat as they are right now, and I just really want to have like flat little hearts. Okay, so over here I have the Pandemonium stamp set by Mama Elephant, and I'm going to stamp a little panda on some watercolor paper by Simon's Stamp. And then I'm going to stamp them using Archival Jet Black ink by Ranger. I'm going to use distress markers to color these little pandas. So first I'm going to scribble some pumice stone distress marker onto my craft sheet. You can also do this on an acrylic block if you don't have a craft sheet. And now I'm just going to add a layer of water first. And I'm doing that because I just want my colors to blend really easily. So I'm picking up some ink using my Pentel Aquash brush, and then I'm going to add color to the outline of the image. Okay, and now I'm just working my way in. And as you can see, the colors really start to blend. So it goes like from just a darker gray to a very light gray, and I really like that because you get some shading. I want to add just a little bit of blush to these little pandas, so I'm using a Tattered Rose distress marker for that, and I'm only going to add a tiny bit. So I'm going to pick it up with the Aquash brush, and then I'm just going to add it over here. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the panda over here. Okay, so I just finished coloring the little pandas and I'm going to set them aside so they can dry. In the meantime, I'm going to heat set the little hard embossed piece. So I'm making this card for my mom and she really likes this distress ink because I made a card with it and she said that she just really loved the color. So I'm going to use some spun sugar distress ink to add just a tiny bit of color around the edges. So I'm just going to work my way in. And I'm not adding like a ton of color, but just a tiny little bit. Over here I have some green cardstock that I'm going to run through my Big Shot machine using the Grassy Border die by Lawn Fawn. So this is just like the perfect border that you can use to create grass. So I'm going to use it with this green cardstock and I'm just going to place it over here. Okay, and as you can see, I'm now left with this. So I'm going to use my paper trimmer to cut off this edge. And then I'm going to cut it over here. And then we have just this really nice border. I'm using some regular Tomo Mono adhesive to adhere the grass piece. I'm going to cut out the little panda bears that we colored earlier. There are some coordinating die cuts for this stamp set, so you could easily just run it through your die cut machine, but I'm going to fuzzy cut it. Okay, so I'm going to adhere these little panda bears, and I'm going to do that using some dimensional adhesive. So I'm using some foam squares. I'm going to adhere some sequins to this piece, and I'm using all pre-pink Posh sequins. So these little flowers are from the Springtime Mix sequin pack, and then I'm using a 4mm lemon meringue, aquamarine, and sparkling clear sequin. So I am adhering these sequins using a quick stick by We Are Memory Keepers and Glossy Accents as an adhesive. So I just add a tiny dot of Glossy Accents, and then I can pick the sequin up using the quick stick, and then I can easily adhere it. I'm going to use some white Nina cardstock and the Simon Says Stamp Talk Bubbles 2 die cut set to die cut this little speech bubble over here, and it's in the shape of a cloud. So I'm just going to run it through my Big Shot machine and then I will be back. I'm going to use the sentiment Kiss Kiss I Love You. And I'm going to cut this stamp apart because I just want to stamp the sentiments in two parts. A lot of people worry when they cut stamps apart, but it really doesn't hurt them or anything because you can just kind of mount them back together on an acrylic block. So I'm just cutting them apart very carefully. There we go. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment using Green Hills ink by Hero Arts. And it matches the green cardstock perfectly. Okay, so I'm going to ink it up. And then I can stamp it. So over here I have a standard size A2 note card that I cut out of some 110-pound cardstock by Nina. And I also added the heart pattern using the Falling Heart stencil by Simon Says Stamp with some white Wendy Vecchi embossing paste. So I did the same as I did for this piece, but I just didn't add glitter this time. So I'm going to adhere the panda piece onto the cards, And I'm going to do that using some dimensional adhesive. To adhere the speech bubble with the sentiment on with some dimensional adhesive as well. Okay, so that finishes up the card. As you can see, it has a lot of dimension. It also has some glitter with the little sequins, and then of course the sparkling hearts. So thank you so much, Jennifer, for having me as a guest on your blog today. I'm very honored and happy. So bye everyone, thanks for watching.
And there you have it, an adorable card from Laura. Now, if you'd like to see more from her, click here so you can subscribe to her YouTube channel, or you can head over to my blog where I have a link to hers. If you're interested in the products that she used today, they're linked below my YouTube description and also, again, over on my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com. And Laura, thank you so much for sharing your talent here with us today. See you soon.